Most of the people in this country don't even know what bail-ins means, but when they find out the hard way, like that, everything changes. And that's what I think will happen. There will be a bank bail-in. There will be a bank failure, maybe several big ones. They will be bailed in. They will not be bailed out, and the public is going to freak out.
Hello and welcome to Crypto Street, where we bring you the latest and most intriguing stories. Now let's begin our enlightening discussion with Andy Schectman.
Will it be announced this week? Maybe, maybe not. There's lots of conflicting information. James said yes, and one of the representatives from South Africa said no. But we know it's going to be issued. We know that they're the countries that are buying copious amounts of commodities, and by all measures, we believe that they will be used, or commodities will be used, to back a new reserve settlement currency. That's what we were told by the Russian finance minister on many occasions. And we've already defined the fact that gold has been revalued or reclassified as a riskless tier 1 asset. Makes very good sense, in other words, to believe that anything that would rise to challenge the dollar or the system would need to be something that would be trusted, where we wouldn't have to rely so much upon those that are issuing the currency rather than what is standing behind it. I think that's for sure. And look, whether there is no earth-shattering announcement this week, the dollar's dominance is being weakened by the day, and you can see it, you can feel it. Even just last week, India did a major oil deal from Abu Dhabi and paid in Indian rupee instead of US dollars. And for many years, that would not have been acceptable. That would have been met immediately with all sorts of backlash by the West. But this is just more of the same thing. We saw France do the same thing with the United Arab Emirates in a liquid natural gas deal paid in yuan. And we see Brazil doing the same thing in selling their corn and their commodities to China for yuan. And so we are witnessing a continued de-dollarization. And as I've said since that conference, then again, and in all the podcasts I've done subsequently, to me, what is really relevant in this meeting, because I do believe that a commodity-backed currency is inevitable. I truly do. We see Saudi Arabia be admitted as a full member of the BRICS nations. And we already know that they've applied to the Shanghai Cooperation Organization and to the BRICS New Development Bank. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization would be number 2 to this puzzle. In fact, let's give it 3 big events. 1, Saudi Arabia. 2, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization being admitted to the BRICS as well. Every one of their delegates, which is, of course, the largest regional financial and military organization in the world, have been invited to the BRICS meeting in Johannesburg. They are there, and they are suspected to be admitted as members of the BRICS Union as well, along with the Eurasian Economic Union. And these are all the countries that are, I guess you could say, in between Russia and China, those that end in stan, like Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan and even Pakistan, all these countries that are in the Eurasian Economic Union that are also rumored to be joining the BRICS nations. You are building this very formidable alliance of countries. And if we come away from this meeting with Saudi Arabia being announced and the Eurasian Economic Union and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization also joining forces with BRICS, you're dealing with critical mass. You're dealing with an expansion of credibility, of military might, of GDP, a growing creditworthiness, a growing credible and formidable foe. I don't think we need to see the fact that this new currency system, settlement currency, or whatever you want to call it, one that we suppose will be backed by commodities, needs to be issued this week. I know James Rickard sparked a lot of interest and hope that this indeed is what would happen. And I believe ultimately he's right. I just don't know if it's going to happen this week or somewhere down the road. But In a world of probabilities, I would say that there is a very high probability that before the music stops, indeed, that is what the BRICS settlement currency will be. It will be one that is tied to commodities to give it veracity, to give it trustworthiness, to give it credibility, to give it immutability. These are the things that will be needed, of course, on the rails of the distributed ledger or on the blockchain technology to show the veracity, to show the world the immutability, to give it transparency. These are the things that will be needed to make this new system credible. But by all counts, by everything that I see, it's all but inevitable. Just don't know if it's going to be this week or not.
Don't forget to join us as we explore the unfolding events. Let's take a look at the latest news in the economy. BRICS Bank expands bonds. BRICS Bank plans to issue a debut Indian rupee bond by OST after the first South African rand bond aims to bolster local capital markets for funding. BRICS bloc grows. China eyes expanding. BRICS to challenge G7. Summit to consider adding Saudi Arabia, UAE. The geopolitical landscape could shift. Yuan versus dollar. Economist dismisses the yuan as a major dollar threat. Limited global reserves curb impact. Multi-currency future predicted. Schiff's Fed warning. Economist Schiff warns Fed's 20-year policies harm the economy. Inflation fight likely to fail. Market misjudgments noted. Brazil's CBDC progress. Brazil's central bank details Drex CBDC plans. Rebranded digital currency to transform transactions. The launch is set for next year.
The broader scheme of things where, rates were low, money was easy, incentivized people to take on debt. Now things go in the opposite direction. And if you lose your job, you're screwed. Most of the people in this country are paycheck to paycheck, even those earning over $100,000 a year. Paycheck to paycheck. You lose your job, you're dead in the water. How do you pay a $500,000 mortgage at 4%, which sounds really great at 4%, but how do you pay it when you lose your job? And, so this is a situation where you see a guy like Buffett on the sidelines, in essence, with short-term treasuries, 6 months or less in duration, with nearly 150 billion. Or look at Michael Burry, who just put 93% of his entire hedge fund portfolio, 1.6 billion, short the S&P and the broader market. So, yeah, you are seeing that. Even rumors of BlackRock moving away from the U.S. equity market into more of the emerging markets because they see greater potential there. This is a company with $9 trillion on their balance sheet. And so, yeah, I think indeed what's really interesting about all of this is that the majority of the debt now is owed to the American public. You're seeing a phenomena where the big central banks of the world are dumping U.S. treasuries. But who's buying them all right now? Oh, it's the public who's leaving the banking system and buying treasuries, filling that void, if you will, destabilizing the banks and putting more of the risk squarely on the American public.
That wraps up today's crypto news highlights. Stay tuned for more updates, insights, and analysis from the world of cryptocurrencies. Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more engaging content.